Hello. My name is Beth Green. James? And otherwise known as Granny Rocks, and I see we already have a comment.
And my name is James Maynard, and I'm otherwise known as Sweet Baby James. We're doing chats again tonight, so please do chat with us. And Beth will talk directly to you if you're live in person tonight. Otherwise, give us a comment, and she will reply to your comment. And we have several hellos already. Catalina says, good evening, and sends a heart of love and a wave. Thank you, Catalina. Back at you. Tracy says hello and says a wave and a caring. Thank you, Tracy. And Elizabeth says hi there and sends a heart of love and caring. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Well, welcome, Catalina, Tracy, Elizabeth, and everybody else who is on the air that we know and that we don't know. So I am very excited to talk about my topic tonight. I have no notes, but I understand the situation. The solution, well, whatever. But what I am saying is, this is the topic. If you value your health and your peace of mind, it doesn't have to happen. So what's it? You know, are you curious?
Oh, yeah. What? Tell us, please. What is it?
Well, the whole thing is that if I look at myself as an example, there's always an it. Oh, I have to get that phone call before I leave the house. I have to make that phone call before I take a shower. My dog has to go to the vet and survive. I have to get a bid on my house. I have to move. I have to get that job. I have to get more money. I have to this, I have to that. Or it needs to happen, meaning something external. Well, for instance, that the vet is going to save the life of my dog, or the potential sellers of the house that we love and that we made an offer on are going to accept it, or whatever I have to get that raise. My candidate has to win. I tell you, if you look into, for me, it's a minute by minute thing. Constantly, there's something that I feel has to happen. My husband
Has to change.
Has to change.
Don't hold your breath.
And it's always like, if it doesn't happen, I'm going to die. So
sounds very stressful.
It's very stressful. It is very stressful. Exactly. If I don't get that job, if I don't get that inheritance, well, I never got an inheritance, never expected one. But anyway, whatever it is, something terrible is going to happen. If my son doesn't get a job, if my daughter can't get over her drug addiction. Hello.
Oh, Amy is here and says, hi, Beth and James. Thank you very much for this topic. How stressful this has to happen, whether now or in the future, is.
Right. It has to happen. And something has to happen at this moment in order for this thing to happen in the future too. So I'm not only waiting for the thing to happen in the future, but I'm also stressing out of the moment about the thing that has to happen in order for that to happen in the future. And can we all take a breath?
Oh, by the way, Amy meant to say it.
Yeah,
is.
I thought you did. Thank you. always feels urgent, and we
And
have
Todd has joined us and says, "Hi, Beth and James," and sends musical notes, caring, and a happy smile.
hello
Thank
there,
you,
Todd. So welcome to everybody who has already said hello. Thank you, thank you. So I've been thinking about that because I am always waiting for something to happen that I'm hoping for, right? Oh, my dog is going to start obeying me. Yeah, right. My health is going to get better. We are going to be able to sell our house and move someplace where I might actually live longer. Uh, I mean, you can add if you want to say what your its are, please share them with us. But the whole point is that it doesn't matter what the it is, that there's an it, and then there's another it, and then there's always another it. So supposing, for example, supposing this house that we want to buy, supposing the sellers accept our offer. Okay, so you think that we could relax then, but oh no, then we have to go through the inspections, and then we have to make sure that the loan goes through, and then we have to do this, and then they have to agree to that, and it is like it's one it after another, and then the movers, and how much is that going to cost? And suddenly you discover that everything is more expensive, and are you going to have enough money? And then you get there and you find out you're not happy anyway, or you're not any healthier. Then it's not even satisfying what you think it's going to be, or you meet this guy and he's got to be it, right? The it who has to have, and maybe he will, but maybe he won't. And so it's all that uncertainty. So now that stress, when I say, if you value your health and peace of mind, it doesn't have to happen. And I'd like you to think about something right now in your life. Any it you want that you feel has to happen, that you can recognize that energy, you know what I mean? That stressful energy. And put it in the chat if you like. Keep it a secret if you want. But we'd love to know. And I want you to say, but it doesn't have to happen. You know, when I say it doesn't have to happen, I know that there are situations where we may be sad or may grieve or whatever. For instance, when my dog died, my last dog, it took 2 years of me grieving until I finally got another dog, and then I could stop grieving. So I'm not saying any of this means that there's no pain, but if I have to hold on. He can't die. He can't die. He can't die. Then not only am I going to grieve, but I'm going to have that intense pressure that might give me a hernia or an aneurysm.
And we have another comment from Amy. I have been feeling that the it of getting my water-damaged home has to happen right now. But now that I have gotten used to the idea of just allowing a period of time to handle it, it really helps.
Oh my God, Amy, that's amazing that you can do that.
Well done.
Yeah, well done indeed. So exactly. So we had this situation where we were going to lose $5,000 if we didn't sell our house within 45 days, and what happened was we probably are not, because it's getting close to that and we haven't sold it. So it means like I don't have to get that money back. No, it's not that we can afford to lose it, but it doesn't have to happen. It doesn't have to happen. Anybody else going through something now that they can say to themselves, it doesn't have to happen? And I'm going to go a little bit into how we can frame that differently, but I just want to give you a chance if there's anybody else there who wants to share some it that they've been feeling that has to happen, has to happen, has to happen.
Well, I have one right at the top of my head.
What?
There's a house in another city that I have in mind that I would really like to have happen for me and you.
Yeah. That it has to happen, that we have to get that house.
Feels
right?
that way.
And of course, we haven't sold ours yet, so we're trying to get them to accept our offer even though we haven't sold our house yet. And so you feel like it has to happen. Well, supposing you said to yourself, James, it doesn't have to happen.
It doesn't have to happen.
It doesn't really have to happen.
I have a roof over my head. And it's a
Exactly.
pretty darn
Thank
nice
God
house.
for us. We have a roof over our head at the moment. A great roof it is. There are some issues, but yeah, it doesn't really. I mean, think about whether or not it really has to happen like Amy did.
And now here we have another comment
Yeah.
from Elizabeth. I feel I have to do what I can to make sure the company I work for survives because I love this job.
And so, Elizabeth, I know you like to call yourself Lizzie. It doesn't have to happen. That company doesn't have to survive. And you can certainly help it. But you can't bring with it the energy of it has to happen, it has to survive. I want to say something about that. Something is always happening. Always.
Yeah.
So we buy a house, we don't buy a house. I don't want to confuse you with the details. But anyway, something is going to happen. We're going to be living somewhere, or we're going to be on the street, or something will happen. And I can look at this and I can say, I want to control what is going to happen. I want to decide what is going to happen.
That's a natural tendency.
That is the whole point. And so I'm sitting there, and just like Elizabeth says, okay, I feel like I have to do what I can to make sure the company I work for survives, because I love this job. And you could, they could hire somebody over you who fires you anyway, even if they're going on. So what can I say? Do you know what I'm saying? Every one of these becomes a has to. Now think about alternative things. Okay, supposing the company you work for does not survive. So you go out and get another job.
Yeah.
Think about it. Oh my God. There are no other jobs. Nowhere. Anywhere. If this doesn't, you could, maybe you'd make more if you worked at McDonald's. I really don't know. But it doesn't have to happen because there are alternatives. Now, what we do is we set up a structure in our mind. This is the desirable outcome, and this is the undesirable outcome. Now, with something as big as buying a house, we really don't know anything about what is going to happen if we actually bought that house. We don't know if the neighbor is going to cut down all the trees. We don't know if a tsunami is going to come and flood it. It's not that close to the ocean, but you know what I'm saying. We don't know whether... I lived in a house once. It was a rental. And one night, I heard a crash, boom. And I went out, and there was a guy who had been driving very, very fast, hit a tree, and ended up as a corpse in front of my front door.
Wow.
Dead. Now, it was pretty traumatic. He wasn't, he was dead on arrival when I went outside, and I tried to protect his body so other people wouldn't run over him because it was at night. So I was sitting outside trying to protect his body, and it was really upsetting to me, because especially being an empath. So if I had never gotten that apartment, I would not have gone through that. You don't know ever what is going to happen. You only think you do. You think, oh, if I get this guy, or if I get that job, then this is going to happen. Or if I get that house, this is going to happen. But you don't know. So in fact, when we are getting all tense about it has to happen, that's because we have some idea in our heads about what the result of that is going to be. But maybe none of those things is going to happen. Maybe something entirely different is going to happen. So some of us who are spiritual, we like to come up with religious rationalizations. Religious rationalizations. So they say no to our offer, right? And so then James and I look at each other and say, oh, it would have been a disaster. God is protecting us from something terrible happening. Right? Now, do you know anybody religious or spiritual who says that to themselves? Maybe you do. You say, oh, see, it wasn't meant to be because something better is going to help them. And you know something? I like that one. Because there is no way to know. Because we never know what would happen if the thing we wanted to happen did happen. So we can tell ourselves any cock and bull story that we want and convince ourselves that this is so much better than what would have happened if we had gotten what we asked for, because there is some benevolent energy up there in the universe that's watching over us. But that may not be true either.
We have another comment. Amy says, that is so helpful to remind myself that I can absolutely not foretell anything about the future or effects of anything that happens, even if it is what I want to happen.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it gives us that feeling of uncertainty and insecurity. However, the truth is uncertain anyway.
Right. So you might as well relax.
So you might as well. What we do know is pretty certain is that if we don't relax, we are going to make ourselves sick. We are going to lose our peace of mind if we ever had any. And we could get physically ill as well because we're too stressed. It's like, oh, there goes my ulcer, or my stomach is churning, or my back hurts, or I'm getting migraines, or whatever it is because I'm worrying. I'm guaranteeing myself a negative outcome just by the amount that I'm stressing over something because I think that it is the thing that I'm going to want to have happen. And there's another thing. Oh, we have another viewer first who wants to say hi.
Robbie says, hello, namaste, watching from Kathmandu, Kapan, now, in Nepal.
Wonderful, Robbie.
Welcome.
If you didn't hear the rest of the show earlier, please tune in and watch it again. But what I'm talking about is how we get all stressed out because we believe a certain thing has to happen or has to not happen.
Amy has another comment. Yay for uncertainty, ha. But being willing to allow uncertainty really does help me to relax.
It does.
Yeah.
And now I want to say something else about uncertainty. So uncertainty, let's say they don't take our offer. Okay. That means something else might happen. Oh my goodness. How exciting.
We're totally free.
We're free. You see, we sometimes have to choose between freedom and the illusion of certainty. I want you to think about that for a minute. Because it's an illusion of certainty. Because we really don't know. Okay, I'm doing an experiment at work, or some scientific experiment, and oh my goodness, it's nuclear. I didn't know that I was making a bomb. I didn't know that what I was doing was going to kill thousands of people. I can't even remember how many people died in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in a minute. Do you see what I'm saying? So we don't know what we are doing, what someone is going to use it for sometimes, or what we are going to use it for, what the world is going to use it for, or if nobody is going to use it, or it's going to be forgotten, or it's not going to make any money anyway, or somebody else already came out with a better version 10 minutes before we did. So we think we want certainty, but the fact is there isn't any. If I get this girl, or this guy, or this other, I am going to live happily ever after. So, on the one hand, we have this illusion of certainty. On the other hand, if we don't, let's say we don't get this house, that means either we're not selling this one, or we get another one, or we may not. May move somewhere else. Maybe we haven't moved yet because actually we're moving to Alaska, but nobody has told us yet. Suddenly, we are free. I was in a contract for something. I got a job. And oh my God, I was so excited. I tried so hard to get that job. And of course, I go and I begin to discover, well, maybe it's not exactly the way I want it to be. And then 2 years later, I'm so stressed out by the job, and and I leave. And suddenly I feel free again. You know, somebody told me this about a recreational vehicle, an RV, like a motorhome, right? And the same is true of boats. The two happiest times with a recreational vehicle is the day you buy it and the day you sell it. Because of the expense, the trouble, everything goes wrong, you know. So you're so happy because you have this fantasy about what's going to happen. So here's that reality is, if I can remember that the no to what I want is a yes to something I haven't imagined yet, or that I don't know might be there, that it's not a no to me and to my life. It is a yes to where I'm going that I don't know. It's freedom. For instance, back to Elizabeth's issue about her job, right? Well, maybe if your company goes under, you'll get another job, a better job, a worse job, a different job. Maybe you'll start your own company. Maybe you can't get any job, so do you go to work and create something different? Every no is a moment of possibility for a different future. You're not locked in. There is a great freedom in that. But we don't feel that way. What we feel is, this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen. So I have been practicing, no, it doesn't have to happen. And do I immediately feel relaxed? Not necessarily, because I'm a human being. However, I can work on that. And as a matter of fact, we had a couple of difficult, disappointing experiences this week when we were gone, trying to move. And at each time when something fell apart that I had been hoping for, I felt more relaxed. I was no longer locked into some destiny that may not have been so great. So first of all, we can believe that some benevolent energy in the universe is guiding us, which is kind of fun. Or we can think of it in terms of the no opens the possibility for something else, something new, something maybe I hadn't thought of before. When my dog died, the one that I cried about for 2 years, I mean, I was completely devastated. I wanted him back and all of that. And now I have a different dog. It took 2 years. And actually, I have a better relationship with this dog than I had with the other one. So what do you think of that? The not happening, leaves open the possibility for future. Now, what do I feel in that moment? I feel like, oh no, now nothing will work out. And when I did, it took me 2 years to find a dog. But anyway, I don't want to go into the details. The point is, it's very easy to go into the fear, oh my God, my life is over. So now supposing you're waiting for the results of a test and you want to find out if you have cancer, terminal cancer. And it's like, oh no, it can't happen. I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to be me. Blah, 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 blah. And I understand that. I'm not certainly going to criticize anybody for having those kinds of feelings. But if you do have it, then that is going to set you on a course in life that you cannot imagine. You don't know what your experiences are going to be like. You don't know the people that you're going to meet. You don't know your destiny.
Let me ask you something, Beth. What's it like when you want a certain person, like you want to marry a certain person?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they are a unique individual. There's nobody else like them.
Right.
Or, as they say in real estate, every property is unique in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's unique also.
Yeah.
So are you settling for second best if it's a no to that and then something else you have to consider?
No, because you don't know what it would be like if you really got the thing you wanted. Supposing
Okay.
I'm trying to marry this guy, and it's like, oh, I gotta have him. It has to happen. I have to get him to marry me and all of that. I don't know what it's going to be like really being married to you. So it just means that, oh, I'm not going to have those experiences. Well, I'm going to have another experience. Maybe I will have an experience of being single. Maybe I will maybe I'll meet a woman that I'm attracted to. Maybe I'll meet somebody else and that'll lead me to move to Paris. I mean, I don't know. But if you don't get the guy that you met at the fast food joint and you think you're going to die, maybe if you got together with that guy 3 years later, you'd have 3 kids and you have no life other than taking care of those children. But if you don't get him, maybe you'll go and study and go to college. You don't know. I'm not saying that it's always better, but you don't know. If we can just relax, because it is the stress around it that I'm talking about. I'm talking about it has to happen, it has to happen, it has to happen, it has to happen. Right? It doesn't have to happen. Something will happen in your life, and the door is wide open to what those experiences are going to be. And so if we could just breathe and relax and say, it doesn't have to happen. I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder how this is going to work out. And if it doesn't work out the way we want to, if you could say, whew, I've been saved from something that I don't even know.
There you go.
And that is what I think. And that is the only thing that keeps me sane, and I can't believe our time is up, and it is,
Yes.
and I have to go because we have a group.
So thanks for joining us, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad to have you.
Well,
with us.
wait. We want them to love or like the
Yeah, love or
show
like the
on
show.
Facebook. We
Share
want
it
them
with
to
others.
give it a thumbs up on
On
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yes, share it with others, whichever platform. Join us. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and click on the notification so people will tell you. So YouTube will tell you when we're on. Leave your comments later. I will always respond to you after the show. And thank you for coming. And come back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for Magical Improvs with the Kindred Spirits Improvisational Band, which is
That's
us.
right. That's us.
And I want to tell you, a lot of times when I get on the show, because we have problems, the internet will fail or this will fail and the show doesn't go on, and I'm always going, oh my God, no, I can't let that happen. Well, there's nothing I can do about it. It happens, and then I have to breathe and say, well, that was an interesting show.
And you know what happened last week? We were delayed 10 minutes or so,
And
because that did happen.
That's right.
So then we went an extra 10 minutes and we had a fabulous show.
That's right. See,
Yeah.
let's make good things out of doo-doo. Fertilizer out of doo-doo.
There you go.
And let's stop believing what our minds tell us, that this has to happen.
There we are.
Much better for your peace of mind. Much better for your health.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. Come again next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time for Lighting the Way.
Yes,
Granny
indeed.
Raps and
Bye-bye
Rocks.
for now.